Hey, guess what? It's your lucky day because you have clicked on the Infectious Groove Music channel. And not only have you done that, but you're not getting just me. It's myself. My name is Russ. Along with me today is Lauren. And we've been doing these kind of matching series lately or in the vicinity of matching. Sometimes she'll do singles from a year and I'll do albums from a year. But this is the first of two that we're going to do on guitar solos. Now, if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, you know Lauren as the organ lady. She's the piano lady. She's the organ lady. She's the synth lady. And when I said, hey, I'd like to do a series of videos about guitar, I think there was a certain amount of, but I'm the organ lady.
Right. I was like, okay.
Right. Yeah. And I will say, I think this led to a unique list from you. So in today's video, you're going to hear Lauren share her 5 favorite guitar solos of all time. And then by all means, litter the comments in this video regarding her picks and some of your favorites. And then you're going to see a video regarding mine in not too long after this. So I think this is going to be quite a fun little couple of videos for everybody.
Yes.
So as far as you go, now we did match up on one, but everything else I think that you picked is wildly different than what I would have picked. But this is one of the great things about learning to appreciate other people's tastes in music is when I look at your list, part of me, of course, goes, oh, I wouldn't have picked that one. But then I go, oh, but that is a rad solo, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So take us through.
Hooray. So the first one I have on my list is the song Day After Day by Badfinger. And the solo that I'm referring to here is actually not played by anybody in the band Badfinger. It was played by George Harrison.
Yeah.
And it is a marvelous slide solo in the style of George doing beautiful slide solos as he does.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of an oxymoron. Like, oh, it's a beautiful slide solo from George. Yeah, I know. You just said the same thing twice.
I know. And
I mean,
it's great. And, it adds a lot to the song, and it kind of, he plays it in a way that gives you some similar inflection to what's happening with the vocal, and it just all kind of ties together in a beautiful way.
This is to stop myself short of going on a diatribe about George, but I think George is underrated in that fact. Like, I think a lot of people, I think guitarists specifically, like I've known a lot of very good guitar players. I am not one of them, but I've known a lot of them. And if somebody plays anything that mimics the vocal, guitar players will tend to discredit it and they'll or dismiss it rather. And they'll just be like, but George, I would argue, knows how to do that with a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happened here.
Yeah. Now the next one is a name that I want to say is underrated, which is Gross.
Yeah. So I'm talking about the entire outro solo from Hitch a Ride by Boston.
And who's playing the 6-string on it?
Yeah, it's Tom Scholz.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Which I think is, maybe I sound like I'm fishing for compliments, but I'm not, for comments, but I'm not. I think Tom Scholz is crazy underrated.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I spent like a gross amount of time listening to this for this, because like the solo at the end, that entire outro, again, it's the chord pattern is different from the rest of the song. Like, it's its own thing, and it just goes off, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, one quick disclaimer. By and large, our comments are pretty positive on the channel. Please don't come at me with, but that record sold a bajillion copies. How can it be underrated? I'm talking about here now today. Ask someone you know who their favorite guitar player is. And if you ask 100 people, I would bet 5 of them mention Tom Scholz. To me, that's underrated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
speaking of underrated, now here's one that I looked at and was like, really? And then I listened to it and I was like, really?
Yeah. I'm talking about the song Ride Like the Wind by one Christopher Cross. And I'm specifically referring to his live performance of it on the Midnight Special TV show.
Yeah.
Because there's a phenomenal guitar solo hidden at the end of that song, and it's on the studio version. It's just buried so deep in the mix that you can't hear it. But when he performed it live on Midnight Special, like, if you find it on YouTube, all of the comments are, Christopher Cross can shred. What? I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know that. And same thing, like, I knew of this performance, but I didn't know it as well as she did, obviously. And I was like, really? And my first thought, this is just being honest, was, I wonder who played the solo at the end. Right? And then he starts ripping, and I was like,
it's him.
The next one is an artist. I believe this guy should come up in every conversation, and probably does, regarding, and he's kind of been reinvented more and more, like over the last even 5-10 years. A lot more people seem to know who he is. I think if you ask him, he'll tell you he's one of the greatest guitar players ever, which might be an issue. It's not even my favorite guitar part on this album. but I totally agree with this selection.
Yeah. So I'm So Afraid, Lindsey Buckingham, Fleetwood Mac on the Dance live album from '97, and and I waffled a little bit because I don't love this song,
right.
But I love what he did to it. Again, reinventing it from the because this was on their self-titled album from '75,
right?
And then you got 22 years later, and it's so much heavier, and you can tell that he's like, there's like. You don't use the word Lindsey Buckingham and stank in the same sentence.
Yeah, no,
often.
Yeah,
but like this is him. Like he's
that
mad.
era specifically, the mid '90s, mid to late '90s. You could hear the chip on his shoulder. If that makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
My favorite guitar part on that record, of course, is Big Love, but that's not even. I mean, the solo is him playing the solo, the bass, and the rhythm at the same time. But I totally agree with what you're talking about. Like if you were going to say to someone, here's a Lindsey Buckingham guitar solo you should hear, this would be version. Yeah. Now, the last one, I already told Lauren right before we hit record, I said, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to shut up because this is the one that we matched up on. Out of my 5, this is also on my list. And I wanted Lauren to talk about why she loves this because I'm gonna bore everybody with how much I love this in my video.
The guitar solo on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" that Prince did in 2004 at it was a George Harrison induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It floored me the first time I saw it.
Who wasn't floored by it? You know what I mean?
And like. I kind of love how he reinterpreted it. I love looking at his face while he's playing it.
It's gross in the nicest way. Like he's just so fun. But I always tell people, if you were playing that well, you would also have those looks on your face.
It's awesome. And I think my favorite part of just kind of the whole visual experience of it is Danny Harrison. Like he is standing. His dad's a freaking Beatle, and who,
as we talked about before, is
an underrated guitar player. Yeah. And his dad is a freaking Beatle, and he's looking at Prince like, holy crap, look at this guy. Like, wow.
It's one of those, I am not here to even remotely try and speak for Danny Harrison, but it's one of those, it looks like, oh, Dad would love this. Do you know what I mean? Like that's to me, joy. That's what it's 50% Jesus Christ, that's Prince doing that, and then 50%, oh, Dad would love this. You know, I will go on further about that solo in my video upcoming on the channel. Stay tuned. I talk about my 5. I've got some good picks. I think you're gonna like it. For this video, please by all means drop some comments. Let us know what you think of Lauren's picks. Go watch that Christopher Cross video after you remove your jaw from the floor. Come back and leave a comment and let us know what you think of that. Check out that Lindsey Buckingham performance. Start telling us your favorite guitar players, but don't waste all of them on this video because we need comments on the other one as well. We want to know more from you there. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a link or a like on the video if you would, please. Share this around to your friends. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.